The following conversation is for mature audiences. We provide a safe and warm environment for our guests to share in their own experiences, to speak their truth out loud. Viewer discretion is advised.
Welcome back to Truth Without Edits. Today's episode is one that hits deep for so many women who carry strength that most will never understand. The strength of a military wife. My guest today, Vanessa, has lived through the long deployments, the missed birthdays, the sleepless nights, and the constant prayers for her husband's safety, while still showing up every single day as a mother, a friend, and a woman trying to hold it all together. Today, we're talking about love, loneliness, resilience, and what it really means to serve, even when you're not the one in uniform. Thank you so much for being here. This has been a conversation that I've really been looking forward to having because it's a very different conversation from anything else that we've done on Truth Without Edit so far. So I'm so excited to have you.
I'm happy to be here.
Yes.
And very honored that you invited me.
Of course, girl. We've known each other forever. Yes. I think probably like 10 years, right, yeah. Vanessa? Because my oldest is about to be 9, and I've known you since she was in my belly. You came to my baby shower, right?
Yes, yeah.
So we've known each other for a long time now. We met through church, and you're just an amazing woman, and you have such a powerful story, and I know you have so much to share, and I can't wait to get right into it.
Well, thank you.
Yes, so let's do it. All right, Vanessa. So to get started, how did you and your husband meet?
Well, we actually met at a club, which is not the most ideal time to meet a person or a place, but that's actually where we met.
Okay.
Or outside the club, I should say. Technically.
Well, it's funny because I feel like that's kind of one of the most... You're going to meet someone at the club or at a bar, or it's usually in a social setting, unless they were a coworker, right? Someone you worked with. But back then, if there was no social media, right? Because you guys have been together for a lot of years.
Right, yes.
So before social media time. So now I think there's dating apps.
When you actually had to talk to people.
Yeah. Correct. So now it's like, okay, I met him on a dating app or met him on Instagram or Facebook. Yes. But back then, that's where it was in social settings, you know? So it makes sense to me. How many years have you and your husband been married?
We've been married 15 years.
15
and we've
years.
Been together. Actually, it'll be 21 years on Friday.
21 years. Wow. Yeah. So your husband is in the Army.
Yes.
And I would like to know, when did you first realize what being a military wife truly meant?
So shortly after we started dating, he left. I say shortly because that's within like 2-year period. He actually left on a deployment. And I wasn't a wife per se yet, but I was doing all the wife duties that most women do. We lived together, and I remember him, letting me know that he was going to leave for the military, that he was being deployed, and it was going to be for 14 months, so which was a little bit over a year. So I had to decide at that moment whether I actually, wanted to be with him, right? Because even though we weren't married, so did I want to commit myself to waiting for someone that wasn't my husband, right? So that was one thing. And then that was my first time. I had never been in a relationship, gone for that long. He had been away before because he was in the National Guard. So it'd be like a weekend a month, which was reasonable. Mm-hmm. But to actually, and that's something that we had a conversation about. It's like, do you want to wait for me for a year and 2 months, even though we're not married?
Girl.
And I had to really well, am I going to wait for him for?
Yeah,
exactly. Like, I'm being realistic. Like, this is, the truth without edits.
That's right.
I'm like, and you know what? And I did. And I decided, and I was like, I'm going to wait for you, and I'm going to stick around, and, we're going to be together, and we're going to see how this works out. But the reality of that is that while in that process, you also have second thoughts. You're like, is it worth it? What is he doing? What is she? And I'm sure vice versa. What is she doing? Because I have more freedom, right? Where he's over here in another side of the world serving his country, and I'm over here, with, como quien dice, with open ground to do as I wish. So it's also a very trusting thing to do, especially when you're not even married yet. So that was the first deployment.
And how long was that deployment?
For a year and 2 months.
A year and 2 months.
14 months.
And that was fresh into your relationship.
So that was fresh because, like I said, that was within 2 years of dating and being together. So that was challenging within itself. Is it doable? Of course, 100%. When two people love each other, you can make things work.
Absolutely.
And we made things work. But was it hard? Absolutely. It was absolutely hard. And back then, like, I have now, so my husband's he's actually deployed right now again. But we have a lot more communication, where back then communication wasn't as available like it is now. Like,
correct.
Social media, even like phone access. I don't even remember the name of the app, but we actually had to use like a special app in order to just be able to call each other.
Wow. Were you able to see each other, like,
No.
your face, or just a call?
No, that was just a call.
Wow.
And like old fashioned, writing letters. He would write me letters. So I have those letters saved. And he has, the letters saved, and like putting perfume on them and putting lipstick on them, and, giving it kisses.
The
like,
good old days, Vanessa.
And I don't do that now.
Yeah.
And I feel like it was so cute then. And I kind of miss those little things, which I can still absolutely do. I can still write them a letter. Like, I just send them a care package, and I had the kids like draw them little pictures and stuff. So, but yeah, it was quite challenging. And not only that, but when that person comes back too, there's also a difference, some, depending on the setting, every deployment is different. Not every deployment's the same. Sometimes you have military members that are going into like, war zones where they're going through war. They're seeing things. They're seeing some of their, people that are going to give their lives for each other, sometimes die. And that can really emotionally, for the person that's coming back, the military member, that's something that then you also have to deal with when that person comes back, and deal with, what people call PTSD sometimes. Thankfully, when he's come back, obviously the first one, it was different. Because can you imagine not being with the person for a year and 2 months? Well, you're going to come back different,
And you guys were so fresh in your relationship. Right. So I'm here thinking you had just started. 2 years is not a long time.
No,
that's
2 years
fresh.
Is
that's
not.
honeymoon status.
That's what
girl.
I say too. I'm like, 5 years is when you, and it's funny because when I had met him, my idea was I'm being very truthful. I didn't want to be in a relationship. I wanted nothing to be, I didn't want any type of commitment. But obviously, things ended up being differently. But once we were together for like a year and a half, I said, I know it's hard to decide whether you want to be with someone or not for the rest of your life in just 1 or 2 years, right? I do believe in love at first sight, but 100% of the time or 90% of the time, that's not how life works. So I told him, I said, but within 5 years, I think that's a suitable time to know whether you want to marry me or not. And if you don't, it's okay. If after 5 years of us being together and being in a courtship, you're like, you know what, I'm not the person, or vice versa, or I'm like, you're not the person that I want to marry either. Let's, have a conversation and visit that and see. And if I'm not the person, then so I can move forward and move on to other candidates.
Correct.
Even though in the beginning I didn't even want a relationship, right? But that's how life is. Sometimes things just change. And then obviously he did end up proposing, and then we did end up getting married. And then I did go through another deployment, and that one was very different. Very, very different than the very first one.
Very different how? Because I'm sure at the beginning you're still trying to work your way through trust because you've only known him for 2 years. Now he's gone for a year and some change. And I'm sure maybe trust was a little bit hard during that time. Yeah. So how different was it for the second one when it comes to that?
So for the second one, so when the first time he left, we're in our 20s, right? So maturity is also very different then. The next time he goes, we're in our 30s. So I think maturity, and another big important aspect of it is Christ. Like Christ was also in our life. We were going to church together. We were searching to have a relationship with God, and God was the center of our relationship. And then everything else was in addition. So I think Christ was the number one reason that it was very different, and maturity with Christ as That's well. It. And when he came back, first of all, we had communication wise, we talked like every day.
Okay.
So that there alone, there's a difference. So that communication, we could talk every day. He can FaceTime me. We could see each other. The only thing that sucked was the time differential, because again, there was a time difference, but we were able to speak every day. We had children, even though we had children back then, but we had children from separate partners. So that was also different, because we had what is it that they call it when you connect two families together? I'm having a
blended family.
A blended family. So in the beginning, in our 20s, we both had children from different partners. So it was a little different then as well. Plus, we weren't married. And then the second time around, we have children together, so that made things a little different too, like having to communicate with the children, like, hey, look at dad, say hi to daddy, like, all these different things. But the communication was always there, which was good.
So do you feel like that second deployment, it helped keep you guys more connected?
Yes.
Especially because now you have kids involved.
Right. So we had kids, and, the connection of always being there, the little things that, to see your baby and say, I miss you, daddy, and all these little things that just, it's sad because it's like you're so far away and you want to be home. But when you come home, it's just like, oh my God, like, I'm so happy to be here. And I think the next, that particular deployment, when he came back, it was almost like we were two little kids, like in like even like holding my hand was like something like almost like really shy, and it was funny. I thought it was funny and cute at the same time, because I was like, oh, we're like two little lovebirds.
But I love that, because you give yourself the opportunity to miss each other, right? They often talk about like marriages can become a little stagnant because it's just like the routine, the everyday routine. Absolutely. Right? But you're given that space to miss each other.
To miss each other 100%. And not only to miss each other, but I think to appreciate each other more, right? Because sometimes, or a lot of the times, when you're together, you don't really see what that person does for you, because it's a routine. It happens every day, and vice versa. Like, you don't see like how much the husband does, because you do so much, right? Or because you're always doing something, or you're always busy with the kids, but then you fail to realize, oh, he does do this, X, Y, Z, and vice versa. Wow, like my wife does X, Y, Z, and now she's doing everything right now while I'm away.
So they often say, when there's a single mom, there's this saying that says like, oh, I play both mom and dad, right? They say that sometimes. So Vanessa, in the times where he's gone, do you find yourself having to fill the gap for the things that your husband would normally do? Or do you just say, that's an area that he feels he's not here, so there's a gap in that area, and I'm just gonna be mom, because a lot of times it's like, I can't be mom and dad, right? Do you find yourself trying to make up for what he would normally do when he's around?
I do for a lot of the things, like especially sports stuff, because he handles all the sports, he signs them up, and he does. But which is funny, because of technology, like he's still doing that, some of it. Even while he, thankfully that he's able to, but like he signed Adeline up for cheerleading, and he was like, okay, Adeline's all set.
I love that.
And I was like, okay, and I'm thinking like, so when does she start? Like in 2 weeks? He's like, oh no, she starts in January, but she's all set now to be registered. So even though he's so far, he's still doing what he can. If there's anything that he can possibly help me, he's still trying to be as efficient as possible as helping me. The thing is that now I have to bring them.
Yeah, exactly.
to like, and they're signed up to basketball, like football and track and
all the things
and volleyball. So now it's like, things that we used to split, now I have to do it all, which, obviously that comes with the territory, that what there are sacrifices that have to be made. He's making the sacrifice to be over there, but there's also a sacrifice on this side. When you said the ununiformed person, a lot of it falls on that other person, whether it's the wife or the husband at times, because there's women that deploy too.
Yeah.
And the husband has to take on all that. So, it can be challenging, but it's something that, that with God and having the right people by your side, like I have my mother, she helps me a lot too with the kids. So that's helpful as well. And I know sometimes that's not always available to some people, but I make it work, and I say for myself, I would like to consider myself a resilient person, but do I have my ups and downs? Absolutely. And, it can be challenging, but it's all worth it in the end.
Going back to the beginning, how do you think that you survived trusting him? I keep going back to trust because I'm thinking if I was so early in my relationship and I had to lose my partner for a little over a year, how did you survive that, Vanessa? How did he survive it so that when he came back, you guys were still strong? Or were you not strong? Did you struggle a little bit?
I think on my part, I didn't struggle as much, but I think on his part, he did. And I think because obviously in the military, I feel like men are a little bit more brutal than women are. Like, I don't, even in conversation, you'll see like how men talk to each other. And I think the things that are said, and not only the things that are said, but the things that other men are going through that sometimes isn't spoken. One of them, the things being a woman being unfaithful. So you're hearing this, or one of the guys, the girlfriend's pregnant or the wife is pregnant, but the math ain't mathing. So those are things that for sure are going to be put, that's even if they're not directly being put into that person's head, but just hearing, these stories going around. And you know what? And it happens a lot in the military. A lot of military members, unfortunately, get cheated on. Why? Because they're gone for so long. And then when they come back to sometimes no money, no wife, no family. Wow. And it happens more than what we'd like to think that it happens, but it does. So I think because of all the stories that would probably go around in the area that he's in, opposed to me on the other side where I'm not hearing about all these men, whatever they're doing in the military versus what he's hearing. So I think for him, it was a little bit more challenging. Obviously I'm speaking for him, but because of those things that do happen in the military. And even like a lot of his friends that I met that had happened to, like co-workers and so on.
Wow. So as years have gone on, I'm sure that it's possibly because of your relationship is a lot stronger now, obviously, than what it was 20 years ago. So I'm sure that possibly are there still ever any struggles?
Oh, 100%. Of course. We'll go through it even now sometimes, where he's like, well, what are you doing? And I'm like, I'm doing this and that. And, obviously there's always going to be a little doubt, but then we recap and we're like, well, I'm your wife. We've been together 21 years. I'm with your children, just giving him that affirmation that I'm here, that I'm not going anywhere.
Yeah, because I'm wondering for other women listening right now who are in your shoes, right? Yeah. Like, what would you say to them, Vanessa? Like, what advice would you give them to work through those long deployments where maybe they're not trusting the husband or the husband isn't trusting them? Because that's got to be so hard. Like, I've never been in your shoes, and I'm just thinking like, oh my gosh, just to be away for that long. Yeah. Any like words of encouragement?
I think for men, they want to hear that affirmation. They want to hear that, that everything's okay. I'm holding everything down. I love you. The things that we like to hear as well. But like that affirmation that everything's okay, that, you know, you're okay, we're okay. If they have children, the children are okay. You know, if you have a support system, let them know that you have that support system. There are a lot of support systems through the military, so you can always join a support system as well. So for a lot of the military wives that are not familiar or are in the beginning process of this, there is a lot of support through the military. There's support groups, but even within your own support system, you know, let people know that, you know, my husband's being deployed, this is the help I need, and then reaffirm your boyfriend, husband, whatever, you know, whoever the partner is, or vice versa, if these are military wives that are being deployed and the husbands are not in the military, you know, for the men to reassure their wives that everything's okay. It's just that affirmation, that secureness.
Just a reminder, everything's going to be okay. We're
Everything's
good. You know, like
okay.
you said, we've been married all these years. I got you, I got us, I got the kids. Everything's okay. It comes down to trust. It's just, you know, it's really trusting each other. And if you've been together that long.
Yes. And again, I'm going to throw Christ back in there again. Because a lot of it, like, we'll do like little Bible apps at night. Like when I'm going to bed, he's waking up. So we'll do like a Bible app, you know, and sometimes we'll do like little marriage apps as well that, you know, talk about marriage, about trust, about family, about communication. You know, communication is key. And it's probably one of the hardest things, right? To communicate, like, how are you feeling? Why are you feeling this way? Because a lot of the times, you can be upset about something, but why are you upset? What makes you feel this way? You know, so communication, letting you know, like, what's bothering you. I know you're in the other side of the world, but why are you feeling this way? What's making you feel this way? What's going on over there that's making you feel a certain way? And or vice versa. What's going on here that's making me feel this way? And this is why I feel this way. And this is why I'm overwhelmed. And you know, things like that.
A lot of communication, it sounds like. A lot of communication. And like you mentioned, you know, just keeping God at the center. And even for the people who don't have God, I'm not sure how they would cope. But for me, for sure, like, it would have to be like God at the center, because how else would I get through it?
Right. And prayer, you know, because like I said, we'll do a little Bible app, but we also pray and things like that help. You know, like I said, this is not perfect. I'm not going to sit here and lie and say, hey, we have a perfect little relationship and he's over there and I'm over here and we don't have any ups and downs within that process. Absolutely not. But, you know, on bad days, you pray. On good days, you pray. And like I said, communication, you have to absolutely communicate and say what you're feeling, how you're feeling, why you're feeling.
That's it. So that there's no room for doubt or any questions. Just talk about it. Put it out there.
Put it out there. Expose it. Expose whatever it is. Because if you keep that all inside, then how is he going to know about it, or vice versa? You know, if he keeps it all inside, then how am I supposed to know how he's feeling while he's over there? You know, I'm thinking, oh, you're okay. You're just, you know, doing what you got to do, you know, working, but I don't know what's going on. I don't really know what's going on at all points in time, you know?
So asking those questions. What's something most people don't understand about the emotional toll that it takes to live a military lifestyle?
Ooh, that's a good one. I think a lot of the times they don't understand like I said earlier, the ununiformed person, right? They're focused on the uniformed person, and by all means, there should be a main focus there, but you also got to focus on the other side of it. You know, like, this person is working a lot of the times, and sometimes they're not. Maybe they're just taking care of the children, but even that's overwhelming, because usually what you can conversate at the end of the night, like, hey, or help me with the kids to do this, or help me to do that. Or even if you don't have children, you know, you're used to your person. So you're used to talking to this person. You're used to being with this person. So now I have to adjust my schedule to not having them, like not having my husband there. And then I keep myself busy, right? And then I have to readjust him coming back.
Yes.
So I think that's something that a lot of people don't take into account, like what the person is going through on this side of the fence, right? The having to put in puzzle pieces where this person used to fill, and then you fill it, right? Because it's a whole year. So you're like, well, I got to put, fill these areas up. And then now when that person comes back, now you have to change your schedule all over again and take the puzzle pieces back out and put the main puzzle back in.
And
if that makes sense.
Yeah, that makes so much sense. Thank you for painting the picture that way, because now I'm wondering, and how does that work when he comes back? Is it really hard to get back into the normal swing of things?
It is.
Yeah.
It is. So I think that's where the challenge is sometimes, because now you have to get back, and get into the swing of things. I've been lucky enough where I have, I'm a realtor, so therefore my job is very flexible. So every time he's come back, I've had a lot of flexibility to even to accommodate and then spend more time. So usually when he's deployed, when he comes back, I try to dedicate more time than the normal, because I'm trying to adjust again, have him readjust to being back to normal life, right? To being back home and readjusting, because he has to readjust too, because he's been doing XYZ for a whole year. Now he has to readjust to coming back home to his wife, to catering to me again, to catering to his kids.
That's it.
I like to go out and I like to do stuff. So now it's like he has to come back to this whole routine of, catering to me and vice versa, and me catering to him. So that's a big adjustment. So usually, like I said, I'm lucky enough for the employment that I have flexibility, so I can take a little bit more time off than maybe the average person, which that's not always the case with every person, right? Because they have to, they have to go back to work. They have to do their regular scheduled things. And that's where a problem may sometimes arise, because that person that just came back needs a little readjustment again and needs that attention again, almost like a child does, right?
Yeah.
Even though we're adults, but we need attention just as much as children and anybody else does.
As you're saying that, Vanessa, I'm like, wow, right? Like, that's why I like these conversations, because we wouldn't know, oh, Vanessa's husband's deployed. Yeah, he gets back in a year.
Yeah, and that's it.
But when you don't really have these conversations, no one knows like what you're experiencing or what he may be experiencing or what your kids may be experiencing. And I'm thinking, if you worked a regular 9 to 5, how difficult is that for your husband to arrive back at home and you're just like, all right, honey, I'll see you at 5,
right,
Monday through Friday. You don't have that time to that readjustment period.
Yeah.
So thank you for saying that, because now I look at it so differently.
And another thing is that sometimes what people don't know is when you come back from a deployment, you have 30 days before you can return to work. So you get an extended 30 days, sometimes even more depending on your job, that they give you to readjust. So that means that in those 30 days, he's readjusting, he or she, right, is readjusting to getting back home. But how much does that suck when the other person doesn't have that time to readjust with you?
Yeah.
So they're trying to readjust on their own.
It should be something written into the rules for the wife, right?
Yeah,
when you have a job, it should be, if I'm married to someone in the military, I should get X amount of days off when he gets back.
They do.
So
they actually do it. It's FMLA.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
So it's through FMLA, but a lot of people don't know about that either. That through military processes, and these are, again, this is a good outlet to come and talk about these things, because you can do that through FMLA.
I would have never known that, because I know FMLA, if you're sick or you have a loved one going through something and you need to care for them, but I would have never known that you can tap into the FMLA to have time off for yourself, to be there for your husband, and have that readjustment period. That's amazing. So for anyone watching who doesn't know that please look into that.
Yeah.
Your kids, Vanessa, tell us how many beautiful children you have and how do they work through all of this?
So we have 6 children. Like I mentioned before, we have a blended family. So out of the 6, 5 are my husband's. So we have 3 older, I always say the 3 older ones and 3 little ones. So the 3 little ones are still living at home. And for the first deployment, it was obviously very different for them, because, some of them lived with their other parent. So I feel like that was probably even harder, because the communication back then, like I said, wasn't as easy and feasible. But again, it's an adjustment. And of course, children are happy when they come back. They haven't seen their dad. They're all lovey-dovey with their dad, which is great. And with my little ones, because like I said, they were able to communicate more, I think the adjustment was a little bit easier, because they were able to communicate more, and they were also smaller.
Okay.
So I think when you have small children, it's easier to adjust than when you have older children that kind of know what's a little bit more of what's going on and the dangers of being deployed, right? Because little ones don't really know unless somebody's talking to them like, hey, this could be happening. But what I thought was super cute when my husband got back the last time was my little one just wanted to do everything with her father. Everything. Go to the bathroom, you come into the bathroom with me. I need my hair combed, not my mom. I want my dad to comb my hair. I need this. Everything was daddy. Daddy this, daddy that. Everything. The world revolved around her father. You know, and everything. And it was so priceless. And I was like, well, it's your turn.
That's it. I've been doing this for a year.
But it was just so beautiful at the same time to see, like, and how important dads are in our lives, right? Because the world literally revolved around her father when he came back. So that was super cute and just impactful on how important it is to have your father there for you.
It is so important. Do you ever feel like your identity has gotten lost in your husband's career?
That one's a little tough. For me, I'm speaking for myself. I don't think so.
Okay.
But I can see for some women how that has been, because it's for me, and the reason I say this is because my husband gets deployed like every 5 to 6 years, right?
Okay.
So it's a little different, maybe compared to someone where their spouse gets deployed every year or they're moving every year. Where in my case, like if I wanted to do a career here, we're settled. If I want to go to school, and I'm talking in the past when I have gone to school and, went to school, had a job, was taking care of kids, it was still all within the same place. And I knew that if I went to school for 4 years, we weren't going to go anywhere for the next 2 to 4 years. So I was able to, right? Where in some cases, when the spouse is moving every year to Italy and then another year to Hawaii and then another year to who knows where, that can be, complicated. And you can lose yourself because it's like, I can't do anything because we're going to move in a year.
Yeah.
So even with friendships, right? Even with friendships, I'm sure that's hard too. Like I'm the type of person, I could literally make friends anywhere, everywhere. Like I could probably move to Hawaii and have a few friends there and still keep that contact, and move to Italy and probably have some friends there. But that's not the same for everyone,
That's right.
So I know that for me, that adjustment doesn't apply. Like I'm good. I'm very resilient. Whatever setting I'm in, I'm usually adjustable. And like I said, it's a little different for me because my husband deploys maybe like 5-6 years. So I'm pretty settled where I am and where he is too. Because then he's just going to come back and I'm still going to be in the same spot. But that doesn't always apply for other people that may want to do something in their career or they lose themselves in just being a parent, right? And not that there's anything wrong with that, because obviously you want to be the best parent you want to be. But I can see people losing themselves and just focusing like, I have to be the best parent ever because I'm the only one here. So I got to give them all that attention. And then you just focus on children, which by all means, it's not that it's a bad thing, but you have to take care of yourself too.
It. I love this perspective, Vanessa, because you're painting this picture to us where it's, you haven't lost yourself because you do have a husband that doesn't deploy as often. Right. So I love that you're saying that because now we don't sit back now and think like, oh, this happens to all military wives. Right. No, every home is different. So in your case, you haven't lost yourself. You have your identity because you get to work and do your things because you're in one place. But then the wives that might be traveling consistently, that could be a little hard. Like you said, maybe losing themselves and just being a mom and, holding down the fort while dad is away. So I really love that because he gets to do his thing. And although you're here probably struggling a bit at times because you don't have him and the emotional tolls that come along with that, you still get to do you, girl.
Absolutely.
And I love that.
Yeah.
I love that. All right, Vanessa, this is a good one. This is a really...
intimacy.
Yeah. Yeah.
I figured that's what that was gonna go next.
Yeah. So how, girl, I'm like, how do I say this?
We could you just
Let's
go
be
for
real.
it. Yeah.
Okay. So
This is the Truth
Truth
Without,
Without Edits podcast. Let's do it, girl.
We're gonna go in.
So oftentimes, right, I find myself hanging out with my friends when I have my girl time, because I'm like always, I feel burnt out because I'm with my kids 24/7, right? And when we get together, we often talk about sex, and we talk about what we're girls, right? Like, and we
Right.
trust each other, and we're very close, and we can talk about that. Like, you know, like, how often should we be having sex? You know, is 2 times a week normal in your household? How about in yours? 3? Oh,
Right.
twice a month for you, girl. My husband will have a cow.
Right,
you know?
exactly. Yes,
so we have
absolutely.
all those conversations, and it's so nice to have friends that you can, like, you know, be open about with those things. How does that work out for you guys? Has there been like a lot of conversations about that? Just talk to us. How do you handle?
So
How do you handle this?
so it's hard, of course, because you know, if especially there's some people that are a little bit more intimate than others, right? I would like to say I'm a little bit more intimate, so therefore that makes it for a little bit more challenging in that area, because you know this person is leaving for XYZ long, and for him as well. So I think there's ways to do things, right? There's things that I know that he likes that I can try to help with.
Okay.
And when he comes back, that's another reason why I said I take some time off.
Okay.
You know, because we're making up.
That's right, girl.
we're
Time.
making up for lost time, and that's a real thing.
Yeah.
You know, that's absolutely a real thing. And I would like to say that that's important, right? Like intimacy and sex is important about in a relationship. Absolutely. Is it everything? No, but it's absolutely important. And especially if that person's been gone for that long, when they come back, they're going to want you. We already talk about it now. And he still has a whole bunch of,
My God.
he still has a whole lot of months left.
When did he leave?
He left in August,
And he comes back when?
and he comes back in June. So we're counting down, like, this is how much, and then we'll talk about things and we'll say, oh, are you ready for this? And it's like, yeah, we're ready. We're both ready. It's just the timeline is not ready.
That's it.
And then there's another possibility of me being able to see him in maybe 3 months.
Okay.
So there's that.
Something to look forward to.
Something to look
That's
forward
right.
to, you know, and it has to be approved. And the case is that depending on where you're deployed, that's not always something that's possible. Like, I remember one year, now that I'm thinking, he was able to come home for like for like a week and a half, and that obviously helped a lot. But then it sucked too, because it's like now he has to leave all over again. You know, so that was nice. And the same thing, if I am able to see him, obviously sex is going to come into play 100%, right? And it's like I said before, that when you have that time apart of not seeing each other, it's like being in like your little puppy love, which is to me is a beautiful thing, because I feel like you need that, and you need to miss each other, and you need to remember like what it was like in the beginning, like how, like when you approached me, right? There was a certain way that you had to approach me. There were certain things that had to be said. You had to make me fall in love with you. So it's almost like when I get to see him again, it's that same like I want to say it in Spanish, me tienes que enamorar otra vez.
Yes.
Like all over again. And not that I tell him that or I expect that, but that's what happens.
Yes.
And then of course, like, you know, the time of being away from him, I miss him too. Because I'm going to be real. Sometimes our husbands get on our nerves,
Yeah,
right?
girl, preach.
That's a realist. And I'm sure I get on his nerve. I always tell him, I'm here to annoy you for the rest of your life, you know? And even though it's a funny thing, but it's a real thing,
Yeah.
you know? And that time apart makes me like, ay, bendito, I miss him. Like, oh, I can't cuddle with him. Like little things like that, the little things that we talk about, like every night we would do word puzzles, right? I miss that.
I love that.
As silly as that sounds, right? We would do little word puzzles, and then we'd get busy. Then we get
That's
to the
it.
action pack.
That's it, girl.
But me thinking of this leads to this, you know, not that it leads to it, but right after that, this usually happens. Then obviously you miss that. So I'm looking forward if I am able to see him in, whatever months, in a few months. So that will come into play. And again, like I said, when he comes back, that's why I like to take that time with him, because a lot of that happens during that time while the kids are in school.
Girl,
we're busy doing our thing.
Girl, you are
because
busy.
we can't do that while they're all up running around.
That's it.
So.
And I love that you mentioned, Vanessa, that even while he's away, there's things that he likes.
Yeah.
And you
that
make some stuff happen because, girl, there's phones and stuff.
Yeah, there's pictures and there's
all
cositas.
All that good stuff. I love this. It's so important to talk about this.
Yeah, and like I said, it's like the reality of things. Like, this is what you have to do to keep your relationship going.
That's it, girl.
And you know what? And it's unfortunate because not everybody has that. Like, there's people that are together forever and they come back to someone that doesn't acknowledge them, that doesn't care for them, that and like I said, a lot of it depends on where they've been. I think when someone's seen a lot of sadness, they're sad. That's the reality. They're sad and they've seen things that they probably don't even want to talk to their spouses about. There's no way of getting intimate because they have these pictures in their memory bank. And I'm thankful and grateful that where he is now, I would like to say it's a safe place or safer, because of course anything can happen. But when he comes back, he has a decent state of mind.
Okay.
And not everybody has that when they have, a service member come back. So I am very blessed that, that's what I come back to, because that's not the case for everybody.
That is
that's
huge
the
blessing.
The sad reality that not everybody receives that, that same sane person.
What lessons has this lifestyle taught you about love, patience, and purpose?
That one of the main ones would be that to miss. And I think with missing, and like I said, with like doing that falling in love over again, right? Because I think love is a choice. No matter how much people like to say, oh, it's something that just happens naturally. In the beginning, it may very well happen naturally, but you have to choose to love your partner. So I choose to love him and he chooses to love me. Is it easy? Is he hard to love sometimes? Absolutely. Am I hard to love sometimes? Oh, 100%. Because I know my character is not an easy character to deal with. And I'm a strong, resilient woman. So I know I have strong character. And that's something that he has to choose to love me. And within the distance, he has to choose to love me through whatever we're going through my attitudes, through my tantrums, through when I have maybe my period and he calls me and I'm like already emotional and stressed out because I have my period. And he's like, what is wrong with you? And and those are things that we have to readjust as well. And he has to love me on it and vice versa. I have to love him. So I think that's an adjustment as well. But it does increase in love because love is like the word says, love is patient. Love is, this and that. And that comes into play. That comes into play a lot of the times.
Wow. I love that you say that love is a choice.
It is.
Vanessa, so we know that there's support groups among military wives, military families. In your opinion, is it a good thing to be a part of these support groups? How has it worked for you in your experience? Sometimes
the support groups aren't always the best.
Okay.
Because there's women that worry a lot and could throw that into that atmosphere and then make other women worry when it has like for example, there's a support group that I'm in with the woman that I've had to come out of, not because I don't want to be supportive, but there's a lot of women that'll throw like, oh, there's a war going on here. They're killing people here. And this is happening here. It's not where they are. Don't even put it in there. Why are you going to worry someone with that information? So that's what support groups could be good, but you have to be careful. Or for example, there's one woman that's like, oh my God, I only get to speak to my husband like once a week. And here I am talking to my husband every day. Imagine if I said that.
Yeah.
Imagine if I was like, well, I got to talk to mine every day.
She'd have a bone to pick with her husband.
Exactly.
Like,
So,
why don't you call me every day?
right. Absolutely. And it's like, so those are, you see how the support system could be good, but
Yeah.
then it's like, or comparing like, well, I do this with my husband, or I do that, or we talk this many times. So, that could be challenging as well too.
All right, girls. So now we are going to do a quick lightning round, which should be fun and light and one word answers. And if it has to be more than one word, it's all good.
Okay.
So my favorite question, coffee or tea to start your day?
Neither.
Neither.
No.
You're the first person that says neither. I think you're the first person that says neither.
I don't drink either. I like tea. I don't like coffee. I don't drink coffee. I'm probably like, everybody says this, I'm the first Boricua that doesn't drink coffee. I don't drink coffee. And tea, I do, but I don't drink that in the morning. I just wake up with hyper. I'm a hyper
That's
person.
it. You just wake up and bam. Wow.
Once
Oh
my
gosh.
feet hit the ground, then I'm ready to go.
That's it. Oh my girl, I'm cranky if I don't get my coffee. If I make it to do any type of errand, let's say I have an early morning hair appointment, I'm sitting in my chair without my coffee, like I'm just so annoyed. I need my coffee.
Yeah.
It's not good because it has a hold on me. So I need to fast. Anyway, what's your go-to me time ritual?
Well, along with being a realtor, I just got my license as an esthetician. So,
Congrats.
So that's like my me time. I love, it's funny because even though I love to receive facials and like getting pampered and doing my nails, that's my me time 100%. But even while I'm giving a facial, it's funny that I actually like relax and enjoy doing that as well.
Girl, sign me up. We'll have to talk after this, okay?
Yes,
I need a
absolutely.
facial. First thing you pack when you travel. And girl, we know you love to travel, so please let us know.
Because as you know, I love to travel. I already have stuff set up. Like I already have like one bag that has like all my essentials. I even have another one with like all sorts of medicines. Like I have one that has like Vicks, Tylenol, NyQuil, like any possible item that you think that you may need if you get sick, I have in that little pouch. Or it's not so little actually. It's like this big actually.
In that not so little pouch.
So I have like stuff set up already, and then I just have to put it in my luggage and go. And then for clothes wise, usually I go with the theme. I don't know if you've noticed this.
Oh, I noticed that, Vanessa.
So,
if anyone knows Vanessa, she goes with the theme.
I go with the theme, so depending on where I'm going, I'll get outfits to match where I'm going.
And I love it. I love it. So where did you go to last?
The last place I went to was Poland, Belgium, Netherlands, Amsterdam in particular, Paris, and one more that I don't even remember where it was. But we were just I can't even say like some city hopping. We were like country hopping, which was great.
What
and
a beautiful thing.
I just love to travel. I really do.
And where are you going next?
I would love to go to Africa.
Okay.
Which is where my husband is right now. But I would love to go to not the part that he's in, not that I could go there anyways, but I would love to go to Kenya and do like the whole little safari thing. I will definitely have outfits to go with it.
Yes, girl, we want to see it
If
all.
that's possible, then that would be it. If not, the choices are, if I do get to see him, are some of the places that I've already been to, but it's okay. Yeah. So maybe Abu Dhabi, that would be the next thing. And I do want to go to Thailand. I have a whole bucket list.
That's it. That's why I'm like, where are you going to next? Because I know you have a list, girl.
So.
I can't wait to see the pictures and all the theme stuff to go with it. One thing that instantly lifts your mood.
My children. My babies.
If you had a full day to yourself, how would you spend it?
Like I said, I love my me time with, like, I love doing my nails. That's where I relax. My feet, a facial. I love doing all that. I love to eat. Like have some good food. And then usually once I've like relaxed and pampered myself, I like to spend time with my kids.
Love it.
Yeah. So usually that's like the little shebang at the end of the day. Just cuddle, especially cuddle with my little one. The other ones don't want to cuddle no more.
They're too grown for that.
They'll watch a movie with me.
Yeah.
They'll watch a movie with me, and but the little one will cuddle with me the most.
What's something you learned to laugh about that used to stress you out?
Girl. See, I'm not a person that gets stressed out, but things that annoy me, they still annoy me. I can't laugh about it now.
Okay. It's okay.
But I'll say like things that my pet peeves when I hold somebody's door and they don't say thank you. I still can't laugh about that. I wish I could.
Yeah.
Somebody that cuts me. I'll tell you things that I still can't laugh about.
Exactly. That's right. And then we'll figure out if years down the road you start laughing about it.
I'll let you know if I laugh about that. But I'm not like I really am a very calm person. To get me upset, it takes a lot. So I'm usually laughing about things anyway. I'm a happy-go-lucky person for the most part. And those are my little pet peeves that I still can't laugh about.
All right. Last one. Heels or sneakers?
Girl, I literally just started getting into sneakers like this year.
Yep.
And I think it's just because, fashion is changing a little bit. And the whole like sweatpants, I'm just not a sweatpants kind of girl. I love heels.
I know, girl.
Heels
and that's,
all day.
That's why I'm asking this question, because I know Vanessa. Yeah. I know Vanessa's always dressed.
Like I said, I'm wearing a little bit more sneakers now, and I have them in like all different colors. And even my kids are like, I can't believe you have so many sneakers now. I'm like, but mijo, we gotta keep up with. But I can't do the whole sweatpants and sweat. I love being comfy too. Don't get me wrong. That's like my airport clothes. My airport clothes is comfy clothes, pajamas. That's my comfort.
Got it.
But besides that, no, I want to dress up. Why not?
Yeah.
Like,
why not?
Why you want to be in sweatpants all day? It's okay to each their own.
To each their own.
No, it's okay if you want to be in sweatpants. But I'm just saying me.
Yeah, no, I hear you on that. I feel like I started doing sneakers too a little bit because times are changing, and that's how fashion goes. It's like, why not?
Yeah, and because I'm a realtor too, so a lot of the times, certain places that you're going into, I shouldn't be going in heels, because I don't want to trip or there's water, and so I'll go with sneakers, and then obviously in the wintertime with little snow boots and stuff like that. But yeah, I love to dress up.
Love it. Why not? No better
como
way.
que dice, antes muerta que sencilla.
Yeah, girl, that's it. So before we wrap up, Vanessa, is there anything I didn't ask you that you would love to share with our audience?
I'm trying to think. We covered a lot.
We did.
Just, I think for any military spouse, just patience, lots of patience, which I have to work. As I'm saying that, I have to work on it too. Like, even though I'm saying it, doesn't mean that I've mastered it. Like, there's days that I still get mad and I'm like, ugh, but patience, communication, love, and just, just talk about it. Pray about it if you can. If you're a believer, pray together, read the word together, do things together in those little bits of time that you can, like whether it's 5 minutes or 10 minutes, do something that you can do together. That, that's like in any relationship, whenever you do something together, it makes your bond just a little closer.
Yeah. And it bridges the gap. You're so many miles away, sometimes countries away, right? So doing that together just bridges that gap a little bit.
So yeah.
Yay.
Well, thank you.
Well, that's all for today.
Again.
Of course, Vanessa, thank you for coming on Truth Without Edits. Thank you for being vulnerable, sharing your truth. Thank you to your husband for,
Yes, he's looking forward. He's like, what are you going to talk about?
Yes. Thank you, Louis. Shout out to Louis for, just being out there and serving our country. To Louis and the rest of the women and men that are out there serving our country. Thank you so much for all that you do. And thank you to all the moms and dads at home holding down the fort while their spouse is away, and
the village that helps too.
That's it.
The people that help that are all around, and
you wouldn't be able to do it without them.
Yes.
So thank you as well, Vanessa, for your service.
You're
because
welcome.
If it wasn't for you, your husband wouldn't be able to do what he's doing. So
partially,
that's that.
Yes.
Bam! It's a wrap.
Thank you.
We did it. Yay! To every woman holding down the fort, we see you. Your strength is unmatched, and your story matters. Vanessa reminded us today that even in the waiting, there's purpose. Her story is a beautiful picture of grace, endurance, and the kind of love that holds steady through every season. If this conversation touched you, share it with another woman who could use the same reminder. She's not alone, and her strength matters. That's it. Ready to share what you've never said out loud? Visit truthwithoutedits.com and head to the Submit Your Truth tab to send your story. You can even submit anonymously. While you're there, feel free to check out our merch, stream the latest episodes, and join a community that's finally saying it all. Don't forget to subscribe and follow the show so you can stay in the know and be the first to hear when new episodes drop. Until next time, truth tellers, keep showing up loud and unedited.